TV.
You can't leave, Janine.
It's just a budget meeting.
I know, it's just a budget meeting. I mean, is there something that she really wants to be here
Okay,
for?
let's review the fund balances first, please. Has everybody got them?
It's in my packet.
Okay. Look at them. Page 1, County General looks good. Economic Development, lit. Special Purpose, down about 2/3. There's the Health Fund, looks good. Health First Indiana. Then lit Public Safety, looks good. Rainy Day. Chime in if
Jim?
you've got a question.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Can Keely hear you? Okay. I didn't know if she had turned it on yet. Did you turn everything on? Okay, super. All right.
Keely, we can't hear you.
It's okay.
No, you feel, legally you'll be able to
Okay.
hear. She will hear you, you're right.
Sing us a Disney song there.
Disney song. I don't think she's in that part of Florida.
Oh,
My guess is Florida.
let it go.
Can you try it again, Keely?
No,
Are you
Can't
muted
hear
on
you.
your,
We see you. Can you hear us?
are you muted on your,
Okay.
okay.
Sorry, we just can't hear you. And I don't read lips. Sorry.
I do pretty much, I think.
I don't know.
sign
I think
language?
she just told us off.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Good thing she didn't have sound, huh?
So page 2, halfway down there's statewide E911, then the 3 lits the 2 correctional facility lits, PSAP, they all look good. Drug court looks good. Page 3. Halfway down, we've got the big allocation, TIF area, and the geo bonds, and then the other TIF areas. And finally down there, 4,700 is self-insurance. All looks okay. Page 4. Jury pay fund is just barely above water, but above water, all right. Then the 2 health claims funds are okay. Right at the bottom, food and beverage. And then page 5 and 6 are the grants.
So that food and beverage is before the reimbursement, right?
Yes, yeah, that bond has not been sold, yes. Any comments or? Okay, looks okay. Second on the agenda is the sheriff's car financing. And the suggestion of the auditor is that we wait until next Wednesday in the council meeting when we have it on the agenda to pass to pay the entire bill. And we can do it, they can do it immediately rather than paying part of it with a vote today and then having to go through 2 steps. So is that okay with everyone?
If the auditor says that's the best way to do it, then I believe her.
Yeah.
It's okay at the sheriff.
Well, you know, my opinion is we owe it, we need to try to pay the whole thing.
Right. As long as they don't have to wait another 30 days after the,
Right.
yeah.
Well, they said when we pass it next Wednesday, they can pay it immediately.
Okay.
Do a special claims.
Okay.
Yep.
The levy appeal, Greg, you want?
Yes, sir. You should have in your packet the 5 reasons that we have put together. Keep in mind, this is the growth quotient. It is my understanding that the auditor's office released our AV, We are again up around 5%, I think 4 point something. So that's higher than the state average. And so I have come up with these 5. I'm looking for any more you want to add. You know, we had paragraph after paragraph after paragraph last time. You know, at this point in time, at best, it's a 50-50 chance. And because, you know, the directive from the state has been, you know, they're going to look for reasons not to give these out. And we have a rather strong cash balance, but that will obviously take some hits as we go forward. So, any questions or any additions? We will be filing this later this, well, it's not October yet, it's tomorrow, but we'll be filing it in October. So.
Today is October.
Today's October 1st.
Oh, that's
We
right.
wouldn't be here if it wasn't October.
Thank you. Forgot, it's payday too. So,
Would that be for the 26 budget?
yes, sir.
Okay.
This would be, first of all, remember, in the 26 budget, we've got our money that we left on the table from our last appeal. So that will help some, and that was put into the sustainability. And then this would be on top of that. And ultimately, with the 5% growth quotient and the GO bond, we should still have a slight 5% growth quotient in the AV. We should still have a stable tax rate, maybe a little bit increasing if we got the maximum levy, full maximum levy. So we would want to review that when we get the 1782, which will be sometime in probably Turkey Day or later.
What was the growth quotient last year when we applied?
4.3 or 4.7.
Oh, so it's higher.
Yeah.
What would be the amount?
The amount that's been calculated, I believe, was around 1.3 million. So that'll be in the application. Yeah. Yeah.
Any comments or
You
questions?
know, I don't know if this would help at all, Greg, but, you know, I mean, our buildings are aging too.
We can put that. They consider that one-time capital, so they don't consider it necessarily something that would be considered in a maximum levy appeal that will go on into perpetuity. We'll put it, Ginny, I'll add it as number 6.
If you think it'll help, if not, just,
Yeah.
it was just a thought.
Seems like our building maintenance goes on for perpetuity.
Well, it certainly does, and it's very expensive, so.
And Jim, by the way, on number 5 here, where I put rising juvenile care, you did task me with asking Shelby County, and I met with their county council. And they believe they are having a rising need in juvenile, but and they said yes, they'd entertain any type of joint relationship. That I believe you were asking me about doing it with Johnson County, and they said absolutely they'd talk and everything. They just didn't have a handle on it. When I talked to them the very
I'm sure
next
this
day,
isn't the piece
and
of
I was
paper
just
that's
with
going
them
in.
yesterday,
Well, that's what I'm asking.
and so, you know, you asked me to do that, I did, and they gave a positive response.
Form.
Well, it's just that True Johnson County actually has a facility, right?
I understood that,
But
yes.
Shelby does not, right? They're like us.
Shelby does not, and it'd be one where maybe going to Johnson, if they expand, is what I thought you were saying,
Yeah.
was maybe we would go in on it. Tippecanoe New County did postpone again for about the 3rd time, building a new juvenile facility because of Senate Bill 1. And so I was actively working with them. I also told them that if they change, there may be other counties that would be interested in renting beds if they did it. But at this point in time, SB 1 is to put them on hold, pretty much.
So maybe the commissioners would consider thinking about that, maybe.
A joint effort,
Yeah, kind of a regional joint effort. Yeah.
Does that work, Brad? I know that there was discussion about regional jails at one time. Would regional juvenile detention work?
Well, we kind of do that now. I mean, if we can find bed space wherever they're at. That's just the problem is finding a location throughout the state that will actually give you bed space. So,
And then whether we would want to sign up for the year for a bed or kind of like what we do with the Talisha Coombs
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
That's the concept, I believe.
Yeah. Pay for so many beds.
which we did for years with Delaware County.
Yeah.
For years with Delaware County
Right.
until they decided not to do it that way.
But maybe again, that's something we look at as we're going forward with the farm property and the courts and criminal justice system. And I
Correct.
know that it can't be with the adult population, but that might be something that's workable into the plan.
Yeah, and that's what Jim had asked me to kind of think about or ask about. So,
How many beds would you recommend, Sheriff, to build? You know, if we were going to build something,
If we're going to build them, it's going to be a regional facility. I don't know. I think we'd have to do a little bit of a study to see. I don't have an idea right now. I don't want to speak out of
put a
turn.
number out there. That's okay.
yeah, Tippecanoe was talking about 12 or 24, and at 24, I don't believe it was 24 and 42, but it was 20 million to build and 3.5 to operate per year. So that's what put it on hold. Yeah.
24 beds,
Just for 24 beds.
3.5 million to operate.
Yep. And that was, there were 3 final independent studies to kind of come up with the 3 to 3.5 million of cost. So it wasn't necessarily pie in the sky numbers. And that was, there was alternatives of them sharing it with their existing facility. So,
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yep.
Oh, I was just gonna add on that I've done some really rough math to try to figure out where the break even is on youth detention, and I could not find it. I mean, it was too much, 24 hours a day and dealing with juveniles and the extras. It is definitely, I think, a perpetual financial operating loss unless the state wants to subsidize it, even if other counties pay $100-something a day.
yeah, and I'm hearing the cost is now $350 to $500.
Well, the subject came up when Janine and I were meeting with the judges. They're the ones that brought it up, and they just said that they're having difficulty placing juveniles any place.
And if it's in the middle of the night, that requires, I'm guessing a deputy to transport or a jail officer.
Oh, absolutely.
That we take out of service for that. Yeah, I'm guessing.
If you can find a place to take it.
If you can find a place to take them.
So it sounds like a challenge for 2026.
Okay, thanks for checking on that.
I was going to say, yeah. It'll be a challenge after I'm gone.
Under old business, I was going to ask about the, Scott, can you give us an update on where we stand on the change?
Yeah, I had reached out to, DLGF because they need to review. They said it would likely be the maximum amount of time period for them to get their review done. And I still haven't heard from them, because I thought it would
It's
be.
past the maximum time, right?
I think so at this point. We got ours in, I think it was August 19th is what I recall. So it's well over 30 days. It wouldn't surprise me if they were delayed on all of them, not just our requests. I don't think it's singular to us. And what I'm going to do is reach out to them again, the 2 people that Greg was kind enough to provide me to these on, and I'll see what they say. It should have been done already, but so that's where we are. You haven't heard anything, have you, Greg? I haven't heard from any other counties.
I haven't been pressing them because I thought you were.
I mean, any other counties that you?
Oh, yeah, Sure, we're doing it in several other.
But have they got
counties.
back to any of those?
There's
Or?
been a couple of them, they nitpicked and they threw back. In Martin County, the county attorney did it all on his own and they threw it back at him and denied it. And so, so it's been taking more than the normal time.
Okay, so there's only been a few that you even know of where they've responded? Okay. Yeah, that's my job.
Okay. Sarah?
Adopt the resolution for juvenile court magistrate. You guys already signed, we just need to adopt it.
Okay. What, do we need to pass something or or just sign it?
This is what you need to sign,
Okay.
that we talked about with the
Okay.
It's already
judges.
signed.
It's already
Okay.
signed.
Yeah,
Just need to pass the ordinance, Resolution 2025-10-1, resolution of need to appoint a juvenile court magistrate judge for Hancock County.
Motion according to what Ms. Gray said.
Second.
All right,
Been moved and seconded that we, whatever that number is. All
Adopt the
those in
resolution
favor say aye.
2025-10.
All those opposed, it passed.
There you go.
Any other old business anybody wants to bring up?
I've just got a little bit of business. I spoke with Corey Taylor this morning. And, with the loss of Rick and the mowing, of course, a lot of that had to go over to contract to keep the mowing up. He thinks he'll get through the mowing season fine, but don't be surprised if he has to come in for additional monies for snow removal. Not for sure, but that's a possibility.
Depending on how much snow we get, right?
And I told him, Jim Shelby can come over here and shovel the sidewalks.
He does everything else, he can.
So
I'll bring my
just
shovel.
so you're aware.
Okay, okay. Anything else? Scott, you got anything? Old business?
If there was anything else.
Or Greg, you got any old? Okay. Is Brent here?
He'll probably be here closer to 9:30.
Yeah, okay. Jeremy? Nope. Greg, how about we go over the 2025 revised GEO bond ordinance?
Yes, you have in front of you 2025-10A, I believe is the correct number on it. And Lisa Lee had indicated that she was approached by someone and she moved the interest rate down that in the bond ordinance that you approved, she moved it down to the hypothetical interest rate of 4.5%. That is going to cause us a little bit of concern in competitively bidding this bond issue. As you know, we send it out to Greenfield Bank, we send it out to underwriters, we send it out to almost 75 different entities to bid on these bonds, and this is competitive. And there's nothing that sells better than Hancock County. Pancakes may sell better, but Hancock County bonds sell really, really good and get a lot of competitive interest in it. Keep in mind, we're still in the premium bond, and we discussed this during the amplified. So if we cap it at 4.5, that means that someone can't bid a 5 coupon and then pay you more. And I've gone through this a couple times. So by having the 4.5, it probably will drop out some of our bidders. So we're asking that that be put to 6%. We had originally 7% in the draft ordinance. That's too high. Things are looking pretty positive, and the market for tax exempt bonds is very, very competitive. And so we're expecting it could be down in the 3.5, but again, they want the ability to put a coupon on there because they might be using Robin's grandchildren to peg that when that maturity comes due and want that 5% until her grandchild goes to college. That's the reason for those type of competitive or those coupon rates. So
Did Lisa put the 4.5% in there just to kind of protect us from what could be a higher rate? Was that the thought process, or?
I don't know what the thought process of whoever said put the 4.5, and Lisa really didn't have anybody that she knew. It just got changed. And so the answer is it's not a protection. That may actually cost you more because, again, if someone bids 5, they have to pay you more than 6.5 million for it.
So are we basically doing this on the advice of our attorney?
No, she didn't advise it. First of all,
Who put the, okay, I'm a little confused. Who put the 4.5% in?
we don't know.
I think, remember last time I argued about that the rate was too high?
High.
And then he comes back and says, well, Mr. Woolridge was right. He knew the rate was too high and we should have done a lowered out. And so I think this time they probably over and said, oh, well, Scott knows what he's talking about. 4.5% might be better.
So
Yeah,
even if we
dude,
sign
can't-
off on.
can't-
So you were
Dude.
saying 4.75.
I was saying, I think it was around 5. And this
Yeah,
time I'd be
well,
fine with 5. I'd be fine with 5. He keeps mentioning 5. But, I mean, what's the Fed funds rate at now, Kent?
But the bid, when we bid the bonds for the thing was what, 3.25 or 3 point?
For amplified?
Yeah.
No, I think it was a little higher than that. I don't know that one.
It was
off my-
still way down
But
below this,
3.25 would be two. But, and remember,
And we've had
no
a
matter
lower.
what the coupon is, if you buy a $5,000 bond, you got to bring it back to the market rate of 3.5, and you may pay more than $5,100 to make that equate
Right.
to get a 5% interest coupon on your bond. So overall, the county wants to achieve the most bids it can get because that will get you the most competitive rate.
And you're comfortable with 6%?
Right.
Absolutely.
Your recommendation is 6, so that's what I'm.
Or the not to exceed, and if it went from the market rate of 3.5 to 6, they would pay you almost $7 million. Okay, so yeah, it's all net interest cost, taking into account their fee, the interest rate, and the discount is best bid in this case. Net interest cost, taking into account all of those things.
Question, when will this go to bid?
We have a ratings call set up now, and I think it is going to be November, 1st of November.
Okay, so there's still possibly another rate cut prior to that. Do they have one in October?
Yeah, but
I understand, but that, for the overall market, for competition, that means something.
Sure.
It does.
I believe they do have another one. We have a calendar in our office that has every Fed meeting
Right.
on it.
You know, the interest rates they talk about, okay, yeah, they're going to cut another 0.25%, but that doesn't mean they're going to cut mortgage rates. Well, mortgage rates have fell almost a point since they've started their cutting things. So yes, it does. Same way with this.
It affects it.
It affects it. It
not
doesn't
the
affect
same
it.
1-to-1 ratio.
It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but it affects the market as a whole big time. So that's why I was trying to get, is there
Yeah,
another
we like
market?
to say there's not a direct correlation,
Right.
but there is.
There is a huge correlation.
impact.
There's an impact.
Yeah.
And sometimes the mortgage rates go up when
I haven't seen that. I'm too young, apparently.
So we would.
today, okay. So we need to pass it today to,
If that is possible.
Do we have the appropriate paperwork?
Yep, it's right here.
Well, I'll move we approve ordinance amendment number 2025-10A.
I second it.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'd rather have 5%.
I know.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here's a
It
shock.
passed.
You don't
I
always
know
get
that.
what you want.
I know.
I know, but I tried
He
to
never
convince
gets it.
Kent because I think he knows the Federal
I
Reserve
understand.
and how it works a
But it-
little bit better than most people.
But
So.
it doesn't mean anything because it's going to come in below 4.
Oh, I know. I'm right again. I'm
Whether you
right.
put
We know.
5 or 6,
Okay.
it's still going to come in below
I'm
4.
right again. We
It's
know that.
okay. If you want to vote no, that's your prerogative. That's
you-
good.
Like me to go to the next one? Sure. Okay. So Mr. David Gray is here and Ashton Bennett is here. And we've been putting together a great working group, and we've come to what we believe is a joint solution, and they'll be able to speak directly to it if you have any questions. Robin was at one of our meetings and heard this. Mary Noel and Tammy were on a Teams meeting where we talked about this, and you have a letter in front of you, okay, in your packet. And so this is labeled future income tax legislation. We recommend the library request new legislation to begin in 2028, which would allow an increase in the library special purpose rate up to 0.25 and would be distributed based upon population. The population is new and the 0.25 is new. Now, what's going on? If you go to the next paragraph, the libraries are certified to receive the following from the local income tax in 2025. If you look at the line labeled Old Cadget, that is what is self-destructing coming 2028. So Hancock County Public Library would lose $1.9 million. Vernon Township would lose $173,000. Therefore, they would only be left with the two special purpose operating and special purpose debt. That, according to my understanding in working with both of the entities, that would be quite significant, as you can see, to their overall budget funding. We looked at several things with Rhonda had a suggestion that we keep the special purpose at 0.15, work within the current framework of the 0.05 to be distributed, and then find another way to address the debt and the capital. And we thought as a group that would be, I mean, the debt and capital probably would end up going on the tax rolls. So that wouldn't really work. So we all, as a group, decided that this would be the best avenue to try at this point, okay? Now, if you look at the estimated county income and you look at the rate needed to recover the 2025 distribution, you see it's 0.21. You might say, why 0.25? We believe that the 0.25 would be set at the maximum. We would have an annual review of it by the county council like we do now, okay? And you would govern the rate. And we are also suggesting that there be a minimum fund balance of $2 million. And that is going to be added here, added as we go forward. What we're asking for from the county as a whole, number one, is for support on this future income tax resolution. Both of the libraries are going to do a resolution requesting that the county council support this effort. And I believe that resolution is well on its way. And quite frankly, I did help draft it. And so on behalf of Hancock County Public Library itself. So if you look at the bottom section there, the estimated sharing, doing it on population is currently how the state is trying to take SB 1. They're trying to do everything based upon population, not levy, because levy in the future, if the growth quotient goes to 0, it will not grow or change anymore. So, you know, and I've told you that 0% growth quotient in property tax levy is coming. So the theory is as the population would grow, there would be a distribution change, and that seems to be very, very relevant, okay? So where we're going next, libraries may have or will be considering adopting this resolution, sending it to the county council, and then we'd want the county council, Scott, probably you to draft a resolution, if you approve it, for this to take place. You know, it is my understanding there was one whole group saying SB 1 won't be changed next year. Actually, I believe there's current that SB 2 is coming to a theater near us very, very soon. Representative Thompson has said, no, there's changes that need to be made, and we're going to try and make them next year. So we want to get in front of this as fast as we can, assuming you would agree with it, and because we may get a no the first round. We may have to go back a couple rounds. So, questions?
Yeah, question I have would be if you go to a population distribution, how do you count population every year?
You wouldn't, you'd use, in my view, you would use a certified, that's what the state always uses.
A what?
The certified are the census. Yeah.
But
that would be
they do
updated.
the census every 10 years, though.
Yeah.
Not every year.
Right.
So you can't.
Guess what? That's where SB 2 needs to correct SB 1.
Other places.
Okay.
I got a question. So why is the old Cadget leaving? Was the legislature passed to reduce taxes? Is that why the legislature?
All current income taxes, unless they're special, Section 6 is going away. All income taxes are going away to get you to reauthorize, remember, a new 1.2 as far as the county is concerned. So all those, your CDIT's going away, your Cadget's going away, your public safety's going away, all those are going away effective 2028 today.
Okay, and so with those going away, then it was the state's opinion then that the counties would then have to raise their taxes to compensate for that. That was the idea, right?
They would raise their own income tax.
They would raise their own. It wasn't that they were taking away the taxes thinking they were going to stay away. They're taking away those taxes in order to force the counties to raise their taxes, right?
Well, you use force. They were enabling you to raise the money back by instituting your own tax rate.
There's a difference between force and
business.
Okay, so what I was thinking of the bigger picture, if they would reduce taxes in the state, say, hey, we're going to reduce taxes and everything like that, then everybody's thinking those taxes are going to be reduced. But then in truth, that's not true. They're reducing their taxes at state, but then that means we have to increase ours. So there is no reduction in state taxes.
Yeah, to make sure they're reducing property taxes and giving you the ability to charge more local income tax.
Right.
Giving cities and towns the right. That's the big key.
They're shifting it from property to income.
And matter of fact, I have an analysis on Hancock County and Hendricks County where what you will see is actually it may be not as bad as you think. If income grows, property taxes will go down. There may be actually a fairly good break even, especially in Hancock County. The way we've preliminarily calculated, it looks pretty, it doesn't look as bad as you think. So, and I'm going to have that for the next budget committee meeting.
This kind of feels like when they did the caps, you know, they lowered it and then, but if we wanted to function, we had to raise taxes.
You know, my overall opinion was 1, 2, 3 made a great headline in this Indianapolis Star. It did not have calculations behind it. I do believe there are some calculations behind Senate Bill 1, which gave me a little bit more, Robin, a little bit more hope that we'll get there. And again, it's because the cities and towns for 10 years have said, why don't you give us the right to have our own income tax? And they gave them that right. But counties have to watch out that if SB 2 comes, you currently have the right to go up to 1.2. The 1.2 also for a city is allowed, but most cities are saying the 1.2 doesn't work. We need it to be 1.5. If they give that right, they may look for someone to take it out of, and I don't want it to come out of the county share. So the Association of Counties and the Association of County Commissioners really need to guard, because if they raise one and cut yours, I gave you the break even in your sustainability analysis. You know, you're relatively close to the 1.2.
And so what you're saying is that the property taxes come down and we raise the income taxes, then it might come close to offsetting itself.
Yes, sir. Because if you have positive growth in adjusted gross income, if you and your employees make a little more each and every year, and if it would track at about 3 to 4%, we believe there is some overall bill, you know, with a relatively modest house and modest income, you will be break even. Now, the problem is, you know, property taxes are a deduction on your federal and all of those things. So everybody's tax situation could be different based upon their tax situation. But yeah, and I'll have that for you, like I said, in November. But stay tuned for SB2.
Well,
so back to this.
we're
So
still
this is a
fundraising.
way that, you know, we've been funding our libraries, our 2 libraries, with income taxes. This is a way that we're thinking we could continue. And I know, Tammy, this is round 2 for you. I believe you did give us a indication. You thought this, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe you should say.
I actually think this is the best way to go. Listening on the call the other day and hearing Ashton talk, David talk, they've put a lot of time and effort into this, and this seems like the best plan to benefit the most involved. And that's what we want to do. And the fact that they're working together on it, I think this is the direction we probably need to head and support them.
I've got one other question on the population distribution. Is that from a state standpoint or is that from a county standpoint? Is there a certain amount of dollars that come into the county, and then from a population standpoint it gets divvied up? So if Vernon Township grows faster than the other parts of the county, then they get more of the share.
Right. So Kent, the SB1 was totally about getting income taxes disconnected from property taxes.
Okay.
To do that, they made the main driver population as we create different buckets for income taxes, okay? Like the 0.05 and for EMS and fire. The EMS and fire is based upon population and square miles of the district or the territory. And so they're trying to make the state, specifically in SB1, is trying to make a disconnect from property taxes, and that's the way they're doing it, either mileage or population.
So what's their plan then to do the numbers? You got to come up with numbers then. Do they have a plan?
Yeah, I
for
don't
that?
think there's been an official authoritarian source on what the population would be if it would not change every 10 years, or if LSA would put out population estimates and it would be used from that. Okay? I have not heard that at this point.
So if they can't do it, they'd probably go back to the old way, wouldn't they?
Well, there's all kinds of possibilities, Jim.
I mean, you got to be able to
Yeah.
account for it.
Yeah, I think Indiana University and LSA could come up with, and I'm sure with Purdue's help. I didn't mean to make you glitch there. But
Have people go out and then take a survey every year, all over the state.
survey says. So,
Keely, do you have anything you want to chime in here?
I actually participated on the teams we did to go in depth over the library stuff. And it seemed like everyone was very agreeable. The county isn't out anything, so it was really about making sure they were all going to have what they need and we're all in agreement as far as I was concerned, and they definitely have that.
So
All right.
is this raising the income tax on the population?
So that was Keely's question. And so at 0.21, right on this page, technically, income taxes are coming from a very big pot and funding those first two lines, okay? So the answer is, effectively, I would say no, but you know, the 15 fixed portion will go up, okay, and will be reviewed every year, but keep in mind, they're currently now getting it from two income taxes. They're not only getting it from the special purpose, but they're also getting it from CAGIT. So it's a little, your question is complex,
Okay, how about I simplify it?
but
If
I
you-
think it's break even.
If you live in this county, you make $100,000 a year, is your income tax going up?
Well, from just this, no. From what you might do in the future.
The future, that's different, yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, that was also my concern, was to ensure we weren't effectively raising taxes. And we're, you know, I guess it's better said, we're putting in writing a cap that if you used all of it could be, but that's not what we're doing. It's just putting a cap in place, and every year we get to authorize how much we are going to take and distribute for that cause. And each year we do not have to make that an amount that equates to an increase.
Which, keep in mind, that is even mandated under SB 1, annual review of all lit rates,
That starts, not,
2028.
no, it doesn't start for a while.
Coming to a theater.
You'll be here for 1 year then.
Scott, you will have to do that, like, given the timeline we're experiencing right now, you'll be doing that in probably January, February of 27.
Okay.
So in a year or so, it's coming fast.
So this is the increase of the cap, but not the increase of the tax. We don't have to increase it that. We don't have to charge more of that. This just gives the ability to increase it to that if when CAGIT drops off? Or am I not understanding? If this is a 0.21% increase in the tax, we're not going to exercise that. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not, okay, 0.21 is what we need overall right now. We're getting 0.15 right now from the special purpose, right? We're getting 0.5 right now or more from CAGIT.
Okay.
Okay? CAGIT's being torpedoed. So now we're asking for a replacement, but through the dedicated special purpose.
Let me ask you.
And we have asked that the 0.21 be, the max rate be 0.25 to give the flexibility that if someone wanted to issue a new debt, okay, they could come to the county council, get approval, and there would be room within the max versus the actual. Plus, what happens if we, you know, if services need to be funded, you know, if we want to give a little salary increases, we got to have a little breathing room. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I have a question. It's starting, this would be pertaining to SB 1 2028 then, is that I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought after hearing everybody speak about over the past 6 months that libraries were capped at 0.2% come 2028, that was their provision in the county taxes.
No, I believe it was 0.05 to be allocated to all libraries to replace their property tax replacement. But remember, Scott, we're the only county in the state of Indiana that has the 0.15. So we're totally different than everybody else.
Great. is the base for the two income taxes today that are used the same? You know, for the
It's
casual
adjusted
and for
gross
the
income
special
of the
purpose?
county, yes.
Same base. being
Yes.
used.
Yes. And that is where,
So-
in answering Kent, we're looking at in a very progressive county like you with good growth, that the adjusted gross income should grow at 4 or 5%. The pennies from heaven will probably be eliminated because it'll be more real time. That's what I kept telling you. Remember that. And so that should continue to grow at 4 or 5%. Property taxes are supposed to go down by 5 to 6% per year, and that's already scheduled out over the next 5 years and is fixed in the legislature, and I don't think that's changing at all. And so that's where the net effect.
I don't understand how they're going to do this in real time.
They're going to call you up and say, "What are you making, Rob?"
But they're going to be disappointed.
We're going to have to go
Well, then
out
they'll
and
call
count
your husband.
people every year.
We're going to shake people down. We're going to start with us.
Well, if we're at the base is the same, and we're at a 0.15 today, if we're talking about a 0.25, we're going to be raising taxes. That's a raise in tax.
Well,
Because that's apples and apples. isn't
the
it?
difference between 0.21 to 0.25, in my opinion, would be, but you're setting the max at 0.25, not the actual at 0.25, okay? You would be setting again, assuming we're now into mid-27,
Right.
we're going to sit down and say, what are they currently getting from income taxes? Update this. And then that rate would be set at that point, and that would technically then be a break-even rate, Jim. And so if that is 0.21 or if that is 0.19, because the base went up, then technically I disagree. It would not be an increase. Now,
Well, and Greg,
go ahead.
isn't it so that since you're reviewing all income taxes each year, that let's say in a given year we said, oh, the library needs 0.23, you can offset those 2 basis points with income tax that's not special purpose. If you wanted to decrease to offset so that the library gets more income tax in the coming year, but you offset it from your other income tax revenues, that's going to be a decision made every year, correct?
It's going to be a decision made every year. Hypothetically, in your hypothetical, the way I'm understanding it is, you would go to the county's rate and say, we want to supplement it like that. And then in that case, Keely, you may or may not be able to do that. I don't know. But you will review each rate every year.
And if you ever wanted to apply the full 0.25 max to special purpose, you could ensure you weren't raising taxes by not charging the full boat elsewhere in income tax revenues, right?
Sure. You could do an offset. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's just all my.
Sure. I mean, it's complicated.
That's unrealistic. We just passed a budget that was 1.3 underwater, plus the 27th pay, so 2.3 underwater. So we would never steal from the other income tax to supplement the library when we're
remember,
using our balances to you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but you're isolating it to the 1.2, your tax rate. There's also the 0.4 for fire. There's also the, there's other income taxes that you will be supreme commander over. And so in Keely's hypothetical, that may or may not be the case. It may be possible. It depends on where we go.
Well, now,
Well, and one more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing that hasn't come up today, but that was a concern for me was, we've been talking about moving some of the income tax to cover 911, what will eventually be a deficit. And I was assured that none of this conversation impacts what we've discussed there on moving some of that income tax allocation to 911.
To this point, Keely, but again, 911 is going away in 2028. So that was, again, all income taxes,
PSAP goes
unless
away.
it was a special purpose, about 17 of them in the state of Indiana are going away.
You mentioned fire, that we'll have a tax rate for fire, but we don't have any responsibilities for fire.
Well, they want us to have.
Well, yet. But remember, they'll be losing income taxes, okay,
taxes.
from their own township budgets and things like that,
Right.
because they get some of that cadget. So that's where it's going to come back to a theater near you, Jim. You are going to have to look at replacing that tax with an income tax. Okay? I went, Rhonda and I gave you round 1 or 2 on SB1, and I keep saying, don't worry about SB1 anymore, worry about SB2. And that theater is coming near you first 6 months of 2026. You may say, well, you told us, and I will say SB1, now wait for SB2, the sequel. And there may be a 3 and a 4.
So Greg, what do we, is there anything we need to
Not today.
do?
We want to
We're
get,
waiting for-
if the boards
Okay.
unanimously approve these these resolutions and send them to you, that would then create an action item, whether you agree or disagree. So thank you, Tammy,
Okay.
for bringing it back.
Okay, just kind of wanted to close that circle.
Yeah.
I'm telling
But
you,
again,
every time the state
there's
says
going to be a lot of money lost,
Tell us we have to
and
raise.
we're going to have
Yeah, I know.
services cut
dumb.
if there's not a replacement.
So that they're lying to the public.
I mean,
when they say
1.9
cut taxes.
million.
Like the state has made it so that a lot of financial consultants are going to do well.
Actually, Haldeman is on record as saying the financial advisor scared everybody, and Senator Haldeman, and the answer is we made everybody aware. And the answer is, you will find this out in the rating agency said, we'll take this rating as a update, which is good. That's all we want them to do. And assuming we'll have Bernie on there for his 5-minute cameo, and hopefully you have not been attacked. And so we will go through with the GO bond on a pretty fast manner, and that's what we're hoping, because they just put out a huge documents, and I think we sent the documents to you, Gal, about the impacts of SB1 coming. And so, the rating agency's on it, and we've got to keep Hancock County's rating the best we can and where it is, because we've got an absolutely great rating, and it is very important for us in the future. So, okay. Stay tuned.
Greg, do you have anything else?
Do we really want to ask that?
It's enough, don't you? My brain won't take anymore.
Sometimes it's best to sit there.
Yes, it is.
Let it settle in.
Brent, would you like to come up and present your proposal? Or Keely, I didn't mean to cut. Did you have something else you wanted to add before we go on?
No, not at all.
Brent, okay. I didn't want to forget about you. Brent.
I'm here because I'd like to pursue funds for an efficiency consultant for the prosecutor's office to figure out how we can maximize efficiency with our operations and also generally with operations that we are attached to in the justice system. And that's my request. Essentially, it would be someone to look at caseloads by attorney, number of criminal referrals, filings, time between referral and filing, time from arrest to disposition. Hopefully, we could break that down even by courtroom or even by case. How we operate with any problem-solving courts, number of trials and hearings, offices, policies, and procedures. The purpose would be to figure out how to maximize efficiency so we spend our money and time wisely.
So it's essentially looking at if you're doing a good job or not.
Well, I suppose that's one criteria you could use,
Okay.
Councilman Woolridge. I mean, you could be really efficient, but be doing a bad job with the work product, right?
Yep.
I mean, and there's always going to be a little bit of a thing, is if you have one case, you could probably try that case in a tremendous fashion and do a great job in disposition on one case, but it wouldn't be very efficient. The like side is you could dismiss 500 cases tomorrow. Suddenly, we're very efficient, but we've not done a good job of serving our victims, right? So there's always a little bit of balancing test. But with SB1, as you all were just talking about, and a lot of other things, I really don't think it's ever been more important than now to make sure that we're being efficient with our operations and with our funds and with the allocation of our personnel. As the community begins to grow, I know internally I'm aware of, a little bit of the number of housing starts, et cetera, around the community. That gives me great concern to make sure that we maximize our efficiency moving forward. The thing with public safety is if you figure out that you're really short, by the time you figure it out, it's too late. And then you're really up a creek. And I'd really like to avoid that and make sure we maximize efficiency. That's what I'm seeing.
So you're proposing that we do what?
I'm proposing we allocate up some money so that we can try to find a expert in this area to have them do the study that I've talked about.
In your opinion, if we do this, would it necessarily include more than just the prosecutor's office?
I think it would. I mean, because we are connected to so many things. Because we're connected to probation, we're connected to the courts, we're connected to law enforcement. I mean, all of your, I don't know, one of the things I like to tell people is that everything in the justice system flows through the prosecutor's office. So if you really want a good idea as to what's happening in your justice system, the best place to start with that is going to be the prosecutor's office because everything goes through us. And so it would necessarily have, interactions and some looks at the things to which we are connected, the attorneys, the courts, law enforcement, et cetera.
Have there been other counties that have done a survey like this?
In the state of Indiana, I'm not sure. I didn't take a survey of the prosecutors in Indiana before I started to look, but I'm aware that those services exist nationally, and it's something that's happened in a lot of states, and a lot of people found value from it in both large and small jurisdictions. I periodically go to national conferences for prosecutors, and this was something that kind of came to my attention in that forum. I thought it was something that seemed very intriguing. I looked into a little bit more to kind of figure out what does it entail, how long does it take, what's the work product they produce for you for that, for their money, how long is it, and what's the process, what do they look at, right? And it was very intriguing to me. I mean, and so it was something I did not see here, but I'm aware that it happens, I don't know, again, I've seen it in maybe 35 to 40 other states around the country, and so it's not uncommon.
I think I'd be more curious in seeing what's an output from someone that has had it done.
Well, what the output would be is they'd go and they'd kind of summarize the information, and then generally what they're going to do is they're going to prepare a report like any consultant would, right?
Right.
And then they're going to have something where they're going to say, okay, here's what we see, here's where there's efficiencies, here's where there's inefficiencies. You're going to summarize facts. After you summarize facts, and you're going to summarize based upon best practices you've seen around the country, essentially, what's efficient, what's effective, and what's not, areas for improvement.
One
Take on that.
One of the things this committee does is look at efficiencies, and for years we've talked about the justice system and not being able to get metrics and how efficient are we and how do we line up with the way other people run their justice system. And so
I mean, it's so
this
decentralized,
is
it's really
about the
hard
only
to
way
get
to
stuff.
find out.
But I think this would be a good start. To answer your question directly, Janine, I think it'd be, if I had to guess, you never know what you actually get talking to people, but I would guess in the neighborhood of 50-ish, if I had to guess.
Trying to go through and
what he
find
told
the
me the other
email
day, so.
from the introduction of this, and can't put my fingers on it, but I couldn't recall if you had put an estimate in there.
I don't remember either, but I know that that's approximately the ballpark of it. That's what the deliverable is, to answer your question. I mean, and you get those recommendations, and then see those things, and you are going to have, no matter how good you are, you're going to find ways to improve. You then try to improve. I'm personally, I mean, in our office is very concerned as we look at the rate of growth, right? The county's growing rapidly. We're going to be at 100,000 people here before too long. And frankly, the systems and the operations and the way that we did things, when I began as prosecutor in early 2000s, when our county had 50,000 people, will not hold up under the stress that occurs when you've got 100,000 people. And so I think this could be very valuable. And again, Jim, not only would it be looking at us, but it would necessarily look at those other places in the system with whom we interact.
Has anyone defined in writing the scope of work? Because it seems to me like, for us to move forward with funding it, I'm agreeable to allocating funds for it, but before we pick a number out of the air, it almost seems like we should get at least 2, if not 3 or more responses for whoever does this across the country, all replying to the same written scope of work so we can determine the value of it.
Yeah, so maybe what we would do if we want to move forward, we would maybe make a recommendation to the commissioners that they go out and solicit
Bids.
Actually
Bids.
put out like an RFP or something.
Yeah.
So one point of concern for me, so you pay for someone to come in and tell us that by state's averages or national averages, it's Brent's told us 10 times, we have a third of the amount of people we need, and we need 10 more prosecutors, and we need 10 more this and 10 more that. And so we're going to have that in writing now, and then next budget cycle, he's going to come in and say, I need 6 more employees.
I don't think
Remember that? Remember last year? I need 6 more employees, and he's going to convince Robin and the salary to say yes. And then when we come down to the budget, we don't have the money. So you're basically paying for justification for something that we don't have the money for in the next budget cycle.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's looking at himself.
It's not about reducing.
I think it's about his
increasing.
inefficiencies. He said the
It's
word
not. It's not about
that. You don't think it's about them saying that
it's
you're doing
about him justifying that he needs more people. That's the whole thing. And then he's going to have a paper chase and something we spent $50,000 on to do. But then that doesn't mean the money's there for that. And he's going to say, then people are going to die. I read that in the paper one time, that somebody's going to die because we don't have enough prosecutors.
It's equally
so
possible that
I'm
you
not
look at me
for
and
it.
say, boy, Brent, you're really an inefficient oaf over there. You need to get to it. And they could do that too.
Yeah, they can
That's
say
equally
he's
possible.
not doing his job.
I'm just telling you what the outcome is just as likely, probably more likely that's the outcome than we've got too many people and we need to get rid of some.
Oh, it won't be
and
that.
we can do this and do that. So it's all about then putting us, bringing the newspaper in and saying, you don't have enough people here, so people are going to suffer because of it. Because I've already seen it. I've already seen it. This
You
happened.
could put in the RFP that you're looking at the processes. You can word the RFP, so you're looking at
I'm just telling you what could
at
happen.
the efficiency of the system, not so much the numbers.
Well, there's risk.
Well,
How do you find out if you're,
Both sides. I mean, it's equally possible. Okay, well, I don't know what we're going to get. I don't know what they're going to say. There's no way for me to know that in advance. It's certainly possible that they could come and they could say, I mean, there's a need for more resources for things to work the way they need to for this. But it is equally possible. I don't think it will happen. I mean, I feel pretty firmly of that. But there's risk here too, where they could look at it and examine it and say, boy, Brent, you need to manage this better, or this process needs to be improved, and there's things you need to do differently. And so you know, it's not predetermined what the outcome is. You don't know until you have the study.
No, but in your opinion, we've always been understaffed.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so how can we be more, or how can we be more efficient if we're understaffed? We're already, you know, we're already at the point where efficiency is at its maximum if we're operating at an understaffed level. Or explain to me how that's not happening. I'm understaffed in my business, and I'm operating at a maximum already. So the only way you would be, you could benefit from efficiency is if you were overstaffed and you could make existing people more efficient. So I don't understand what the benefit's going to be if we're already understaffed.
Can I add something there? I think it's really important that this not be just about the prosecutor's office, even if that costs more money. I think it needs to be a full look at the courts and the public defender's office, because kind of on your point, Ken, maybe Brent's doing all he can with what he has. People would make it faster. But if part of improved efficiency means different processes or timelines or expectations between these intertwined groups, we won't know that if all we do is look at the prosecutor's office. And one thing I realized, you know, back when we added 9 police officers, we said, oh, look, we're doing something great. You know, we're getting our police officers up. But then Brent came and said, well, now I have more cases to prosecute. And then the PD came and said, well, now I have more people to defend. And then the courts came and said, well, now I have more court to schedule, right? So everything we do for anyone in that system has a trickle-down effect on everyone else. And I think if we're going to evaluate future needs and efficiencies, we have to look at the whole system.
That might be better.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, and I guess what I would say is that 2 parts. If you want to look at the whole system, the best place starts in the prosecutor's office, because everything flows through there. Everything that the most substantial place where you can acquire data to answer the questions that you want answered is in our office. And, you know, from pretty much day one, transparency is very important to me. I've been very aggressive in trying to be transparent and trying to acquire and amalgamate data so we can truly see what it is we're doing and not rely upon, you know, hints or intuition. We can look at the actual numbers to know, and then we can look at, you know, what those numbers tell us about a variety of things. Some of that data was in the annual report that I produced back at the first part of the year. It's something that is a priority for us. That's, if you have it with our office, it will necessarily open the doors for you to see what's happening elsewhere. And I know I'm always, you know, going to be as committed to transparency as I can. I think it's an important thing. I think people deserve to know, you know, what it is that the prosecutor's office and the justice system is producing. But I do not know, and I don't know that I have any ability to influence the degree of that transparency that comes to all the other people in the way that, you know, I'm describing. I can't control it, but I control what I can do now. And I know that there are people out there now that would do what we want, and I think that would give us a lot of insight into all of those other things relatively quickly.
And I appreciate the dialogue. I mean, I'm 1 vote out of 7, so everybody has to make up their own mind, and I just 90% of what I do comes from past experience, and so I try not to make the same mistakes twice. So that's my dialogue.
Well, we went through this, not this specific thing, about 15 years ago, and we found out that there were a lot of inefficiencies in the system. For example, the judges, when they made a decision, it took like 2 or 3 days before that decision got to the jail. So the person that was affected, even though like in the court they might have been exonerated, they still sat in jail for 3 days. It's stuff like that that you can find out. And the only way to find out is to have somebody look through the system.
Well, then
Stir it up.
you're to Keely's point, then we need a scope of work. Because if it
Yeah, I
doesn't,
think that's
if
what
it
it
doesn't
is.
include the judges, because he didn't come in here telling us about judges' inefficiencies, he came in here telling us about prosecutor inefficiencies.
I don't think he's gonna ever, I don't think I'm gonna say that either.
I'm telling you, then
Every office.
What I can do though, I mean,
Every
you're right,
office.
is frankly, I don't have the ability to say other elected officials or judicial officers are going to do X, Y, or Z. I don't have that. Now, what I do have though is I have the treasure trove of the data from the system, which shows case open, closed, filed, all those other things. And so from that, you'll figure it out. But I'm not going to attempt to speak for the judiciary. That's not my role.
And in private industry, I mean, companies have departments that are continually looking at better ways to do things, which, okay, it might affect the head count, but maybe it doesn't. How do you find out if you don't dig in? So,
If the commissioners want to solicit, again, someone needs to define the scope of work, and we need to get apples to apples offerings compared, but assuming prices are reasonable, I can be agreeable to funding a selected provider of this service.
It's a contract, and it would have to come from a recommendation from the commissioners first.
can you come up with a suggested RFP for the commissioners to look at?
Sure.
I mean,
That's what I said, I'm telling you.
put in
I
writing.
mean, that's something that maybe Scott would
Well, you
would do
don't,
for
you wouldn't
us.
have to do the, I think what would help is, we do the RFQ, what we call it, but you could give us the description of the services that you would like to have reviewed, services you'd like to have done, so you can have a review for your office, and then we'd incorporate that in it. You wouldn't have to draft it, I can do that. You know what I mean? Well, I don't.
Whatever you need done to move the ball forward, I'll do it.
Well, you understand what I mean? I just want, you would just need to provide, okay, you want this survey done, what's the scope of it? And we'll incorporate in
Find
there.
what it is we're looking for. Find what it is we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Brent,
Yes.
maybe, are you on the agenda for the commissioners at all coming up anytime soon?
Not that I'm aware of.
If we were to do that, get you on the agenda, could you just touch base with the judges, touch base with the sheriff, and let them kind of know your thoughts about what you're looking to do with this company that we choose, and make sure that they have buy-in too, and they want to be, because I'm sure that if they're going to look at everything that you touch as a prosecutor, they're probably going to want to touch their stuff too, and just want to make sure they have buy-in.
Okay, I mean, I don't have a problem talking to anybody about anything. Now, what I'll tell you though is that there would be, as I looked at it, and my very loose awareness of this possibility, is that, all right, everything they're going to need exists within 233 East Main over here. They don't need to go and look at, you know, anything that these other folks have, because everything flows through our office. Now, periodically, I mean, they might, it's conceivable to me, I mean, that they would say, hey, Sheriff, how's it working with inmates for additional hearings, and how's that working? Because that's something that affects all of us very directly, and I could see that being something they would do, right? I could see somebody, you know, if there's somebody that had been in the prosecutor business before and understands what's happening, going to different courts to have kind of a look-see as to what's happening in this court, to have some idea as to the nuts and bolts of what's happening. But I mean, that's open courtrooms or publicly things you go into, and so I don't know that there would necessarily be a request for them to like do anything, or anything that they would be expected really to do, right? I mean, and I guess my concern always is that, all right, sometimes, well, I would be a little bit concerned. I don't want to frankly give veto power to somebody else when I'm going to be the one who's going to be under the microscope the most.
Thanks for the clarification.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with Brent on that. I mean, if the county says, yeah, let's invest in evaluating our system in case there's any inefficiencies, that's all, we're doing that on behalf of taxpayers. And I don't see it as really, like Brent said, something that people should be able to veto evaluating our system.
I didn't say anything about veto. I just didn't have a full understanding of how they would have to work through that system.
Oh, yeah.
But I imagine the people, whoever we get, would want to talk to those people, and those people could choose to talk to them or not. I mean, but certain publicly available information, courts and transportation and stuff, I think it'd be pretty easy to figure out. I don't think it'd be particularly contentious. But I mean, as far as data, well, I mean, everything that is a proposed case goes to our office, right? Everything that is a filed case then is generated from those. Everything that is an order that comes from the court that will close a case, one way or the other, comes through our office. And so if you want to see those things, well, that's where it's at.
Keely, could you mute yourself? You're giving a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
I think it's the phones up there.
Oh.
The phones are close to the mics, maybe?
Mine's not.
Okay, that used to be the problem when that did that, so.
Better, thank you.
Okay. So Janine, is that okay if they generate a RFP for commissioners?
I don't think we should really make a decision until we've seen what
No,
we
we're
are
not.
contracting for.
Right.
And that will come to
make
the
up our
commissioners
mind.
first
Right.
and then to the council.
Right. I think the commissioners need to mull it over too.
Yeah, so we can address this maybe at the next.
Whom do you want me to give what by when?
Pardon me?
Whom do you want me to give what by what time? By what date?
Work with Scott.
First, I think you might want to get on the commission, the other two commissioners.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I defer to you, but they may want to hear what Brett.
Absolutely, they would, I'm
The
sure.
RFQ is it's not going to be a long delay.
Okay.
Get on the agenda and get what thing to whom by what date.
When you get on the agenda,
Yeah.
let's assume that the committee say, go ahead.
Okay.
Then if you want to have ready at that meeting, your scope, what you're looking, then that would expedite. Or I can
Email you.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I put the commissioners on there too.
You and commissioners. Okay. Before the meeting.
You can, they'll know what you're coming for.
Brent, it'll be the 21st. We're going to put you on the agenda. if that's
October
okay.
21st.
7th is already full for next week. I apologize.
That's fine. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Jeremy?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
I'm here to ask for money. Thank you for having me.
You came to cut your budget, right?
I cut my budget already for you for last year. I'm here to ask for additional appropriation of $120,000 for attorney services, which should and actually will have to get us through the rest of the year. We're out of money again for our attorney. That's what I came to ask for. By way of explanation, some of where our money's gone so far this year, we've had a significant uptick in the Jens cases that start.
No,
Oh, you started raising your hand. Okay. Just by example, in 2022, there were 86 Chins juvenile termination cases that were filed. 2023, there were 72. Last year, there were 162. This year, so far, we've had 119. By way of comparison to what we'd spent last year before all those last year started, we Third quarter, we spent $104,000.
Did you say those are juvenile?
These are Chin's cases in termination of program, JT and JC cases. These are not filed by the prosecutor. These all go through DCS.
Are you typically representing one side or both sides going to independent attorneys?
Every parent gets a public defender generally, and where that,
I know, but I was asking if your office is doing at least one of the parents.
if we can, yeah.
Okay.
Depends on which court we are in.
I know, because you can't represent both parents.
Can't, and that's
So
where
then that's
the-
why we have to have outside counsel.
Because then
Public
what you have, a
defender.
lot of times you have a mom, and you may have 3 or 4 or 5 dads for all these
Yeah.
kids. So you have 6 attorneys on a case. That's not the average. I mean, but you could easily have 2 or 3, if not more, attorneys on any one. Through the third quarter last year, we spent $104,000 on these cases. Through the third quarter. So far this year, we've spent just under $190,000. That is significant. And that's, I think, a trickle down from DCS filing more cases last year. And the trend's going to continue right now. So that's where a big chunk of what we anticipated would have gone to our regular criminal attorneys is getting sucked into juvenile chins and termination cases. So
Just for the public's purposes, those are child in need of service cases.
So you basically think this will get you through to the end of the
Where
year?
do we get this from? And if we spend another 50 to 100,000 on a efficiency expert, it's gonna save us.
what kind of reimbursement the county has received for our office.
That wouldn't save us money here.
Cost us,
Received
because he's gonna say he's
93,000 in
understaffed
January,
also.
almost 104 in April,
A lot of these have to be outside.
117.
I know, but
And we should be getting
Are the attorneys, I know in the past, the attorneys that were doing this outside would just bill at the end when they're done with the Chin's case? Are they
Yes.
now doing it monthly? Is
Yes,
that
that's
what
why
you're doing?
we've gotten some of what the expenses early on in this office. We've talked about that whole legacy cases and stuff, and a lot of that was Chin's. We still have some of those because they can take 2, 3, 4 years to
Yeah.
resolve. But we have gotten to a point where our attorneys are billing more frequently, so
Okay.
we're kind of keeping a track of that, so we're not getting huge bills at the end of these cases. And
Are they mainly local attorneys that you use?
the Chin's, vast majority of them are local. We do the special qualifications, but most of them are.
Are curious too, are these cases all Hancock County people or?
Yes, they have to be.
Has to be?
Now, I think there might be an occasion where
A dad could be out of,
Yeah.
a parent may live out in the county, but the children and everything are out here. One of the
Yeah.
parents there's.
Yeah.
So yes, but yes, they're Hancock County cases.
It's not venued out here type stuff.
We get those in juvenile cases sometimes, like a juvenile may commit, and that has nothing to do with these JC or JT. But the cases where the child's parents live, so if a crime up in Elkhart, it's gonna get. That's more rare, very rare.
And am I reading your numbers right, that we budgeted, in your budget, 160,000 for this line item? And so far, we've made additional appropriations of 198,000?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So the total anticipated for the whole year for this line item will be about 500,000 bucks and close to it.
Close to, yes, sir.
I'm just adding up
Yeah,
your column over there.
I'll trust your math more than I would trust. But yeah, that's give or take, it's close. But as you know, before, we're not asking for it in our budget, we don't ask for
I'm a little
spend like that, but
yeah.
so kind of quarterly, once we've had those reimbursements, so we can at least let you know that we are bringing money back in, but it's still a lot of stuff of final work here.
For these cases? For the child cases?
I mean, for those, this is for overall, I mean, these just, there's, what I was gonna say a minute ago, and this speaks to that, is it's, it's $110 an hour. So we've also had a 10% increase that started this year. It used to be the attorneys got paid $100 an hour. Now,
Okay, the cost up.
so
Yeah.
there has been a 10% increase just on those, on that line. which isn't super significant, but it's
Jeremy, across all these outside attorney fees, regardless of case type, can you remind us, was it 40%, 50% reimbursement?
on qualified expenses, which CHIN's, the JT and JC cases are reimbursable, it's 40%.
40.
So if somebody spends $1,000, we pay them 1,000, we get 400 back.
And for 26, your line item is again 160,000, so,
Nope, it's 100.
nope.
Unless you approved it. We came in at that last meeting when you were asking people to cut their budget. Came in and asked and offered to lower that 100. So you were trying to cut budget. I think that's what was approved. I don't know if I've seen the approval. But if you did do that, fine, we'll spend the 160 and more next. But we were trying to.
do if we didn't have food and beverage?
So,
Try to get your budget number where you want it.
so do you have any idea what it will be in 26? You can't.
Overall, close to where we've been past, between $400,000 and $500,000 for attorney services.
So we're under budgeted then.
I'm sorry?
We're under budgeted then for 26 probably.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Study would help.
But I don't believe you were at the meeting when we discussed this somewhat earlier this year, Mr. Shelby.
Make him more efficient.
Talking about the reimbursement. I think Mr. Fisk brought it up at a meeting earlier in the year about, recognizing that we are getting that reimbursement coming. Budgeting a lower amount for that light item, but then knowing that money's, I know it's the county's money. I know it goes into the general fund, knowing that's coming back into the county every year. There's just not much I can do about it. We got that.
Okay. You have to come in and ask for money. It's the way we've set this up. We don't have a choice. I ponder what we would do if we didn't have food and beverage, because we'd have to cut other services. So if you have another fund that is sitting there with additional funds that could fund this, you're the budget guru, let us know. But other than that, our hands are tied.
Right. I guess I would say that myself, that we ought to handle this in the council meeting probably, myself, but.
I don't care. I don't know why he would need to come back, though, unless he thought that him come back again. But I'm happy. I don't mind waiting. I don't mind waiting to make a motion at the council meeting if that's what everybody wants to. I don't see I'm just trapped in my own mind. I don't see another way out of it at this point.
Unless there's inefficiencies that we can find out among their department.
Yeah, or is your
not just their
department
department,
so
but the
inefficient?
outside attorneys.
That costs $50,000
I
to
know.
figure out what his inefficiencies are.
Yeah, the inefficiencies of the outside attorneys might be the
So
bigger.
Add that to the 120 that we just need to
We
appropriate.
move juveniles out of the county.
We've got juveniles in this county, and they have to be dealt with, too. So
That's a whole other thing.
I know, that's a.
Spending money on that, and that's, there either.
The library's gonna get a tax increase, so we can take it from the library.
Hurt, didn't it?
Do we want to put that in?
I don't know,
all
you run the budget meeting, you tell us what you want us to do.
Oh,
We have a quorum if you wanted to vote today, if you don't, then push it off to
Do
the
we have
next
120 in food and beverage allocated?
Oh, we do.
That'd be the first question.
That's a good question, Scott, I appreciate that.
We have just enough.
We appropriated more than that?
We have to just wait to see what they.
This is for the rest of the year also.
Yeah, 'cause we can't, even if we needed to come back, we can't come back and pay anything out before December, so this is our last ask.
Right.
Whatever your wish is.
I would start working this into county general. I think for the first few years, we said, well, some of this is legacy, it'll even out, et cetera. We were trying to keep the county general balance, in line. But if this is, if the data shows this is perpetual and ongoing, it seems to me we should just start paying for it out of general and get the more appropriate number next year in the general budget.
I agree, because we are going to continue to do this every year.
I know, honestly.
We didn't want to give Jeremy a big number if it wasn't going to be needed in perpetuity while things evened out for a couple of years. But I mean, what are we in? Are we in year 4
We opened
now? I think.
First day was January 2nd of 2022. So this is our fourth
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I can be agreeable to whatever, but logically it makes sense to me that we pay it from general and start paying it from general. But I can be agreeable to other funds if that's what people want to do.
How about we do a thumbs up for your county general?
For what?
Thumbs up for county general.
County general.
To advertise.
I agree. It's not a one-time, doesn't seem like it's a one-time thing. Okay.
Well, and I don't think we should take all the money out of food and beverage for next week's meeting anyway. We would, if we were going to take this out of food and beverage, because we only got 130,000 appropriated, I think we ought to wait till the last vote in next meeting to know if there's any other emergencies prior.
Well, and a lot of times, like in October, our last meeting, we kind of decide what we think we're going to need in food and beverage to
Right.
get us through the rest of the year. That's always a good idea. So at the end of the year, we're not having to do something at the last minute.
Okay. We just did a thumbs up. So
Thumbs up.
there you go.
My edification, I'm still 4 years in figuring out how this is. Thank you first. Thank you. I appreciate
No,
that.
yeah, I
When
know.
does that potentially make the money available? I know it has to be then advertised and voted on.
November. If it's general fund, it's November. If it's food and beverage, we do it next week.
And when does it become available? I just want to know so when
We'll vote on it next Wednesday, correct?
it comes out of food and beverage, I know it's available. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sorry, Jeremy.
That's 10 days. It's me.
Keep,
Get it to November.
Back
It won't it be
to,
the first week of November?
pardon me?
Won't it be the first week of November? Because it's 10
Yes.
days, then the public hearing will be
Maybe.
first week of November.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it before at
what I
least the
said.
first meeting in November.
November. Okay.
Because it's got it, like she said, it's got to be 10 days after
Okay.
the meeting. And
Okay.
we don't have 10 days between now and then.
Yeah, true. Okay. Okay. Any other old business that anybody wants to bring up? Keely, I didn't mean to leave you out on some of the other discussions. Did you have anything? Anybody?
Oh, you know me, I've been chiming in when I had something to say.
I do have one thing I want to bring up, and it's not old business, it's old
Amy.
but new. So we went to the Lucas Device event last Friday, where the fire departments, volunteer departments were all given their devices, talked about trainings being set up and so forth. Yesterday, I heard from the guys at Sugar Creek, the Lucas device they got, after 22 minutes of using it, saved a life that they were getting ready to tell the wife. And the machine worked. The guys couldn't do it for 22 minutes, and they saved a life yesterday with the Lucas device.
That's great.
And they wanted to thank us and the commissioners as well.
Well, and at that meeting, they did bring up, and I think a lot of people miss this, that Lucas device not only saves people's lives, but afterwards, they have a lot better outcomes sometimes by using those.
Because it's more efficient in how it
Yeah,
works.
and they don't lack oxygen and blood as
Yep.
much as when you're doing it by hand.
They're very appreciative of the time and effort that went into getting them for the fire departments, and I think they'll save lives and do great things.
Good.
Move to approve the minutes of September 3, 2025.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carries. Yes,
For the record, I just added number 7 to the levy appeal based upon the Chin cases and the 318,000 of additional appropriations we've had to do this year. So you know it's in there.
Their auditor business?
Auditor business?
Bernie, if you'll recall, we approved Bernie Harris's hiring of like a media person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
these meetings.
And we said that we would defer how we were going to pay for that. I did check with Bernie, and he said he probably at best could hire this person by November, maybe December. So we may need to come up with some money currently for that person. Now, that person is not in, I don't believe, the 26 budget. So after, I don't think we can get it in now. So we'll have to add that person after January 1st.
And he did say that he had positions open that he could start payment.
Right, he's got the money from. those
Maybe.
The
open-
initial.
For 2025, he's got the money.
Okay.
Okay,
I think he's asked about 2026.
okay.
Okay. No.
The commissioners started a 5-year capital plan. There was no meat on the bones, so I just kind of wondered if that's coming along, Janine?
I think Bill's still,
Thank you. Thank you. The only other thing on here is Green Township Lit Public Safety Application. It says revisit. Go ahead, Tammy.
I was curious when I saw this on here and I've looked through, I didn't know what we were revisiting.
Well, my recollection is that we had a request from them for about $10,000 worth of equipment. And we did that from, I think, Food and Beverage.
I
We
think
did.
so.
But I think there actually were 2 requests from them. And so this is the second request for about $10,000. They're requesting it from Lit Public Safety, and I guess my answer to that is we don't have any money that we want to share from. But do we want to look at it from some other source?
have they been paid their $10,000 for their new hoses? They have, okay.
There's $500 in miscellaneous. Mary highlighted.
But I
Yeah.
think this is the same thing.
I do.
It's not.
It is
It's
different.
different.
But it's dated from June?
I think the total's about the same, but my understanding, it's 2 different things.
Well,
Oh.
is it the reason that they submitted this from the Lit Public Safety Fund because there is no other mechanism to submit it from Food and Beverage?
Other
So
than
they,
coming
if
to
they
us.
request it, they have to request it
Well-
this way.
Well, I mean, they can just come in and ask for it, you know?
Well,
But
but,
it's a law that they can do it by July
right,
1st.
and
they did
I
that.
think that's why they did
Yeah.
that formally. And it doesn't matter to me where we pay it out of if we agree to pay it. You know what I'm saying? Not a
Well, I think that's the
$10,000.
question, do we want to pay it?
What? I'm confused. We already did it.
What is it? Because I'm looking at
Where's
the
second request? We already
application.
did that one. Are you sure?
Keely
think it's the
has
same.
got the floor. Keely, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm looking at the application. It was for $10,118 with a justification narrative. And you're saying we paid that, right? So what else are we talking about paying?
Okay, here it is. So, they had 2 requests. One was for $10,000 for leaky water apparatus. And the second was a Lit Public Safety request in the amount of $10,118 for new fire hoses for the fire trucks and the trash pump.
We just missed the fact that there were two requests instead of one, since they were
Two.
so close in price.
That's right.
Keely, this is a new request that we have
Oh,
not
it's new.
considered.
We already did the $10,000 for the
Leaky,
water apparatus.
leaky, whatever.
So the question is, do we want to help them then with another approximately $10,000 is what it is. And we have in the past, given a lot of attention to the 3 volunteer fire departments because they're a little limited, but I guess I would go ahead and do this, but they really need to go out and get more levy. Because if you look at their tax rate, you look at Green Township, for example, and Blue River Jackson, and I think Fountain Town are all about the same. They've got a rate of about 6 cents a hundred. Greenfield, we pay about 42 cents a hundred. So all of the non-volunteer fire departments, you're paying above 40 cents, maybe even, well, I think Vernon is now 52 cents. And you've got the volunteers at like 6 cents. Well, maybe they ought to be at 10 cents.
Now, is that changing with SB 1? Is that going to change with SB 1 how? Is SB 1 going to change how you were talking about earlier about the firefighters and how the tax would come into play with income tax for them? Sure. So this would be more of an income tax thing in the future. Okay.
So we did turn them down last year for a new piece of equipment.
We did?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fire engine or a fire truck or something.
Oh, yeah, we've done that.
We did turn them down in that, for me personally, it's fine for us to update their equipment, keep their equipment updated, the small amounts that they're asking for. We're going to go into another agreement with Buck Creek here in the next year or two. It's probably going to be in the millions, and so. So this is a nominal, if this is what we end up helping them every year, once or twice, things like this, then right now I think this is the scenario that's best.
Where's the money come from?
Are you saying we ought to pay it out of the RDC?
No, we can't pay this out of the RDC. That's the problem. That's why we had to turn them down with bigger requests.
But you mentioned Buck Creek.
But we
RDC.
will be paying stuff out of Buck Creek. Out of the RDC for Buck Creek.
That's RDC.
Yeah, we can do that. So my motion is to pay this out of food and beverage, the $10,118 for the Green Township Fire Department.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded that we pay this from food and beverage. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried. We did the minutes. Anything else? Last comments?
I move we adjourn.
Keely?
I'm good.
I second Kent's adjournment.
Well, adjourned.
Right.